Okay guys, welcome to preschool. Today we're going to do hello, hello. Ready? Hello, 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 hello. We welcome you today. Hello, 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 hello. We're glad you came our way to share with us a preschool day and be a friend in a very special way. Hello, 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 hello. We welcome you today. Hello! Okay guys, now it's story time. Let's take out the books. We're going to read 2 or 3 today. The Sailor Dog. Born at sea in the teeth of a gale, the sailor was a dog. Scuppers was his name. After that, he lived on a farm, but Scuppers, born at sea, was a sailor. And when he grew up, he wanted to go to sea. So he went to look for something to go in. He found a little submarine. All aboard, they called. It was going down under the sea, but Scuppers did not want to go under the sea. He found a little car. All aboard, they called. It was going over the land, but Scuppers did not want to go over the land. Scuppers was a sailor. He wanted to go to sea. So Scuppers went over the hills and far away until he came to the sea. Over the hills and far away was the ocean, and on the ocean was a ship. The ship was about to go over the sea. It blew all its whistles. All aboard, they called. All ashore that are going ashore. All aboard. So Scuppers went to sea. The ship began to move slowly along. The wind blew it. In his ship, Scuppers had a little room. In his room, Scuppers had a hook for his hat, and a hook for his rope, and a hook for his handkerchief, and a hook for his pants, and a hook for his spyglass, and a place for his shoes, and a bunk for a bed to put himself in. At night, Scuppers threw the anchor into the sea, and he went down to his little room. He put his hat on the hook for his hat, and his rope on the hook for his rope, and his pants on the hook for his pants, and the spyglass on the hook for his spyglass. And he put his shoes under the bed, and got into his bed, which was a bunk, and went to sleep. Next morning, he was shipwrecked. Too big a storm blew out of the sky. The anchor dragged, and the ship crashed onto the rocks. There was a big hole in it. Scuppers himself was washed overboard and hurled by huge waves onto the shore. He was washed up onto the beach. It was foggy and rainy. There were no houses, and Scuppers needed a house. But on the beach was lots and lots of driftwood, and he found an old rusty box stuck in the sand. Maybe it was treasure. It was a treasure to Scuppers. It was an old-fashioned toolbox with hammers and nails and an axe and a saw, everything he needed to build himself a house. So Scuppers started to build a house all by himself out of driftwood. He built a door and a window and a roof and a porch and a floor, all out of driftwood. And he found some red bricks and built a big red chimney. And then he lit a fire, and the smoke went up the chimney. Then the stars came out, and he was sleepy, so he built a bed of pine branches. And he jumped into his deep green bed and went to sleep. As he slept, he dreamed. If he could build a house, he could mend the hole in the ship. So the next day, at low tide, he took his toolbox and waded out and hammered planks across the hole in his ship. At last the ship was fixed, so he sailed away, until he came to a seaport in a foreign land. By now, his clothes were all worn and ripped and torn and blown to pieces. His coat was torn, his hat was blown away, and his shoes were all worn out, and his handkerchief was ripped. Only his pants were still good. So he went ashore to buy some clothes at the Army and Navy store, and some fresh oranges. He bought a coat. He found a red one too small. He found a blue one just right. It had brass buttons on it. Then he went to buy a hat. He found a purple one too silly. He found a white one just right. He needed new shoes. He found some yellow ones too small. He found some red ones too fancy. Then he found some white ones just right. Here he is with his new hat on, and with his new shoes on, and with his new coat on, with his shiny brass buttons. He has a can of polish and a cloth to keep them shiny. And he has a new clean handkerchief and a new rope and a bushel of oranges. And now Skeppers wants to go back to his ship, so he goes there. And at night, when the stars came out, he took one last look through his spyglass and went down below to his little room, and he hung his new hat on the hook for his hat, and he hung his spyglass on the hook for his spyglass, and he hung his new coat on the hook for his coat, and his new handkerchief on the hook for his handkerchief, and his pants on the hook for his pants, and his new rope on the hook for his rope, and his new shoes he put under his bunk, and himself he put in his bunk. And here he is where he wants to be, a sailor sailing the deep green sea. The end. The day the crayons quit. One day in class, Duncan went to take out his crayons and found a stack of letters with his name on them. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work harder than any of your other crayons. All year long, I wear myself out, coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. I even work on holidays. I have to color all the Santas at Christmas and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need a rest. Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. Dear Duncan, all right, listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes, dragons, and wizards' hats. But it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous color goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the lines soon, I'm going to completely lose it. Your very neat friend, Purple Crayon. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light brown or dark tan because I am neither. I am beige. And I am proud. I am also tired of being second place to Mr. Brown Crayon. It's not fair that Brown gets all the bears, ponies, and puppies, while the only thing I get are turkey dinners, if I'm lucky, and wheat. And let's be honest, when was the last time you saw a kid excited about coloring wheat? Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. Duncan, Gray Crayon here. You are killing me. I know you love elephants, and I know that elephants are gray, but that's a lot of space to color in all by myself. And don't even get me started on your rhinos, hippos, and humpback whales. You know how tired I am after handling one of those things? Such big animals. Baby penguins are gray too, you know. So are very tiny rocks, pebbles. How about one of those once in a while to give me a break? Your very tired friend, Gray Crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time, I'm the same color as the page you are using me on, white. If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even know I was there. I'm not even in the rainbow. I'm only used to color snow or to fill in empty space between other things, and it leaves me feeling, well, empty. We need to talk. Your empty friend, White Crayon. Hi, Duncan. I hate being used to draw the outlines of things that are colored in by other colors, all of which think they're brighter than me. It's not fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and then fill in the colors of the ball with all the other crayons. How about a black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask? Your friend, Black Crayon. Dear Duncan, as Green Crayon, I am writing for 2 reasons. One is to say that I like my work, loads of crocodiles, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problems and wish to congratulate you on a very successful coloring things green career so far. The second reason I write is for my friends Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, who are no longer speaking to each other.
Both crayons feel they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon, because they're driving the rest of us crazy. Your happy friend, Green Crayon. Dear Duncan, Yellow Crayon here. I need you to tell Orange Crayon that I am the color of the sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking. And I can prove I'm the color of the sun, too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color in the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you've forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliantly on a field of yellow corn. Your pal and the true color of the sun, Yellow Crayon. Dear Duncan, I see Yellow Crayon has already talked to you, the big whiner. Anyway, could you please tell Mr. Tattletale that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we're no longer speaking. We both know I am clearly the color of the sun, because on Thursday you used me to color the sun on both the Monkey Island and the Meet the Zookeeper pages in your Day at the Zoo coloring book. Orange, you glad I'm here? Ha! Your pal and the real color of the sun, Orange Crayon. Dear Duncan, it has been great being your favorite color this past year, and the year before, and the year before that. I have really enjoyed all those oceans, lakes, rivers, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies. But the bad news is that I'm so short and stubby, I can't even see over the railing in the crayon box anymore. I need a break. Your very stubby friend, Blue Crayon. Duncan, okay, listen here, kid. You have not used me once in the past year. It's because you think I'm a girl's color, isn't it? Speaking of which, please tell your little sister I said thank you for using me to color in her Little Princess coloring book. I think she did a fabulous job of staying inside the lines. Now, back to us. Could you please use me sometime to color the occasional pink dinosaur or monster or cowboy? Goodness knows they could use a splash of color. Your unused friend, Pink Crayon. Hey Duncan, it's me, Peach Crayon. Why did you peel off my paper wrapping? Now I'm naked and too embarrassed to leave the crayon box. I don't even have any underwear. How would you like to go to school naked? I need some clothes. Help! Your naked friend, Peach Crayon. Well, poor Duncan just wanted to color, and of course he wanted his crayons to be happy, and that gave him an idea. When Duncan showed his teacher his new picture, she gave him an A for coloring. And an A+ for creativity. The end.
Okay, for this next part, let's pause the video and get to the table so we can have our snack. And while you're having your snack, I'm going to read you the next chapter for the Jack and Annie story. What happened to them?
Magic Treehouse, Book 4, Pirates Past Noon. Chapter 2, The Bright Blue Sea. Jack felt hot sunlight streaming into the treehouse. He smelled salt water. He heard the sound of waves. He and Annie looked out the window. The treehouse was in a palm tree. Beyond was a bright blue sea. A tall sailing ship was on the horizon. It was just like the picture in the book. "Too late," squawked Polly. "Look," said Annie. Polly was flying in circles above the treehouse. Then she swooped down to the ocean. "Come on, let's follow her. Let's go in the water," said Annie. She took off her raincoat and dropped it on the floor. "Wait, we have to study the book first," said Jack. He started to reach for the book, but Annie grabbed it. "You can read it on the beach," she said. Without even looking at the cover, she shoved the book into Jack's backpack. He sighed. Actually, the water did look wonderful. "Okay," said Jack. He took off his raincoat too. "Come on!" Annie handed Jack his backpack, then started down the ladder. Jack folded the raincoat and put it next to the stack of books. He put on his backpack, then he went down the ladder. As soon as Annie hit the sand, she ran toward the ocean. Jack watched her wade into the water. She was still wearing her rain boots. "Your boots, Annie," called Jack. She shrugged. They'll dry out, she said. Jack took off his boots and socks. He put them beside his pack. Then he rolled up his jeans and ran across the hot sand into the waves. The water was warm and clear. Jack could see shells and tiny fishes. He shielded his eyes against the sun and peered out at the sea. The tall sailing ship seemed a bit closer. "Where's Polly?" said Annie. Jack glanced around. No sign of Polly, not in the palm trees, not on the sunlit sand, not over the bright blue sea. When Jack looked out at the sea again, the ship seemed even closer. Now Jack could see its flag. As he stared at the ship's flag, a chill went through him. The flag was black, with a skull and crossbones. "Oh, man," he breathed. He started out of the water. "What's wrong?" said Annie. She splashed after him. Jack ran to his backpack. Annie followed. He grabbed the book from his backpack. He looked at the cover. For the first time, he and Annie read the title of the book. "Yikes!" said Annie. "Pirates of the Caribbean," Jack read aloud.
Okay, guys, let's do singing time. What song should we pick? Let's do this one. Let's sing the Speckled Frog one. Ready? Everyone's a frog. Well, at least 3 of you are. Ready? 3 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 2 green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. 2 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there was 1 green speckled frog. Glub, glub. 1 little speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. He jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. We're going to sing the Ladybug counting song. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybugs came to the ladybug picnic. Okay, everyone join in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybugs came to the ladybug picnic. Okay, let's do our Ladybug counting song in Spanish. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybugs came to the ladybug picnic. Okay, should we do it a little slower? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybugs came to the ladybug picnic. Okay, we're going to work on our shapes. I have these shapes and they're all mixed up. Remember, take turns and don't interrupt each other, okay? Who can tell me this one?
This one is a rectangle. This one's a circle. It's an oval. It's a square. Triangle. It's a star.